Hey y'all, today is harvest day, but not just any harvest day, it is my pepper harvest day. I've been harvesting cucumbers and beans and tomatoes earlier in the season, but I put off my peppers so that I could make sure I actually have time to process them. And this weekend is the weekend, so I gotta get all of these peppers harvested. All right, I'm actually out here trying to beat the rain, always. First up is my poblanos. Now, for whatever reason, no matter if I grow these in ground or hydroponically, I can never seem to get them any bigger than this. Is there a secret to this? Is there a trick? I really wanted to make some chili rellenos, but it's kind of hard to do that when they're fairly small. The other thing I noticed is that my poblanos that I grow tend to be significantly hotter than the ones that you buy at the store. Not sure why. The other thing I noticed in here is that these seem to be a favorite of mice. This plant was originally loaded down with poblanos, and every day I would come out and there would be something gnawing on them to the point where I set out traps and I did all the things. So basically I just needed to come and get them because the mice were having a field day with this, and I will take what I got and make that into a nice poblano soup. At least the clouds are helping to keep it a little cool. This one I'm sitting down for because my plant fell over. Now this one has me really confused. This was supposed to be purple serranos. I grow regular serranos every year, but I had never grown purple, and I thought that would be such a novelty. The issue I'm having is that this is not the shape of a serrano. I have harvested a couple of these, and the mice don't seem to be interested in them, which is good. Now, this year, the absolute star of the yard has been the Tabascos. Some of them I let go a little bit long, but that's just because I really wanted as many as possible ready to be harvested. They're just so abundant. I live in Louisiana. Tabasco is a staple here. Avery Island, it's made here. So I use this a lot, pretty much every day on all of my food. So my goal was to make a whole bunch of Tabasco sauce, but not only that, also to turn that into buffalo sauce. Some of these feel like they are way past their prime. I may just save those for seeds, actually. I have several of these planted. I had 2 in here hydroponically. I think another 2 on that side hydroponically, and then I have some in a self-wicking bucket. And doesn't matter where I planted it, they have just exploded. And I'm hoping by coming through and doing a really big harvest like this that I will actually be able to get a second flush of these going into the late summer. Okay, so the next plant I have here is a padron pepper. I have never grown these before. They don't seem to be getting much bigger than this. My understanding off of the package was that it's kind of like a shishito, where they're not inherently spicy, but it's kind of a gamble because like the majority of them are not spicy, but then you may come across one that is, which I've always grown shishitos, which are typically smaller than this. So I actually am really interested in trying the padrones and seeing if they have a similar flavor profile. With shishitos, I just blister them up in a pan and serve them with like a little aioli. So that's probably how I will test these as well. So far, so good. I only took a handful of the padrones because I want to cook them up tonight and make sure that we actually like them. Another poblano plant, which as you can see, they will skip over the Tabascos, some of the padrones, and they will go only for my poblanos. I don't know what it is, but the mice really like them. Now, some of these padrones are red and shriveled just because the mother plant died. I had kind of mentioned that the sister plant clogged the tubing with its roots being greedy. So we lost that one. I honestly could probably just yank it up at this point. There's really no point in leaving it there. Alrighty, moving right along. Kind of making my way around the circle. I did grab all of these Tabascos as well that I'm planning to take. Here we have some bell peppers, and you can see we have had some issues in here, some mice issues in here. These guys are struggling. It is well over 95 degrees pretty much every day. Heat index into the hundreds. So the bell peppers, they're trying. Now, I will say this. Pretty much all the peppers in my in-ground beds or raised beds, they're done for right now, except for maybe the jalapenos and the cayennes. I'll check in a second. But none of the bell peppers are producing in this heat. If I can keep these guys alive, which you can see they're starting to look a little bit better, their new growth is compared to whatever happened here, they will eventually produce in the fall. But I'm not sure yet. I may pull up, depending on how much I get of a harvest throughout the rest of the summer, I may end up pulling this stuff and replacing it with more fall tomatoes. Now here is banana peppers. This is another really, really prolific plant. I have had this already harvested once. I'm trying to let them get a little bit bigger. That one's got a little bit of sunburn on it. Actually, that one's huge. So maybe I will take those. So if you are looking for a high producer that is on the sweet side, this is the sweet bananas. This is already the second full setting of peppers on here. I have already a quart in my refrigerator pickled. These will produce, and they are producing quite nicely even in the heat. I'm only going to take the ones that are pretty big for right now, just so that my plant will keep producing. Not bad. And last in this system, we have another bell pepper that is kind of struggling. You can see it's not looking the best. I just redid their nutrients, so I'm hoping that will bounce back. However, tucked in here is my Scotch bonnet. I believe that's what that was. It's getting kind of shaded out by this struggling bell pepper plant. So I may need to look and see what's going on in there. Granted, its nutrition looks perfectly fine. This guy, though, I don't know if it's the heat getting to it or disease or what, but it doesn't look as happy as its counterpart. So these two buckets were really filled with absolute winners. First up is pepperoncini. I have several of these already pickled inside of my house. I'm actually not going to take them until I finish eating what I have, but they are just setting all kinds of fruit in here. The other big superstar in here, by all means, is the Thai pepper. This thing is an absolute beast. I actually have several volunteers right here in this pot that are also ready. And I think what I'm going to do is actually just harvest all of the ripe ones and make them into their own pepper powder, so I can kind of gauge the level of heat there. Because I've already made some cayenne once this season that I have been eating, and that's almost actually out. So I'm going to grab these. Now let me just tell you, you really, even if you like spicy food, you probably really only need one of these plants. They produce that many. It is insane. And honestly, back from my seed starting days, I kind of remember even saying that. And I started a couple. and ended up giving most of them away. This is the only one that I remember actually planting out intentionally. I mean, yes, I do have those, but that's because those were volunteers. I don't know if you can hear it, but my hydroponic system is running. So if you hear any of that noise in the background, that would be why. And I'm hearing the thunder coming in. It's hot out. It's sunny. But there's thunderstorms kind of all around. Honestly, at this point, it's so hot. I don't care if it rains on me. We've entered that phase of summer. And if you hang on, I'm going to show y'all an update. All the things we just planted out in our hydroponic system when we did our refresh. It's only been 1 week. The growth is insane. Now, next up in this pot, another winner is the giant marconi. These will actually get bigger than this, but because, again, with the mice issues I'm having, and I have already harvested a couple of them, I'm just going to grab a couple more so that I can put them up before I lose them. However, there's a ton still setting fruit, which is quite impressive considering the heat here. This is why I do say growing hydroponically really is a season extender. It can help you if you get cold early in the fall, and it can help you if you get really hot in the summer, which I do. See, these may fall prey to the mice. I may set a trap out here later. Okay, a quick pop over into the yard where I vaguely remember planting peppers. I do see some ripe cayenne in here, but I'm not going to take them because I don't want to get them confused with the Thai chili peppers. I'm trying to keep everything separate. Some over here, same thing. But two, I've also already dried these and am currently eating the powder that I made. So there's really no reason for me to mess with that right now. I can always come and get that after the fact. Oh, look, the marigolds are popping up. I was wondering if they were going to do anything. They may have been getting shaded out. Managed to find a spare tomato. Have to cross the yard. Say hi, friends. Now, the other area I had a lot of peppers planted out was this back row of self-watering buckets, which we do have some decent looking peppers that I'll probably take. I'll see another one over there. Actually, bell pepper, are you rotten? Oh, yeah, I wonder what happened there. This is a volunteer eggplant from my compost in place bucket. Looks like I will be getting some eggplant this year. Nice. As I mentioned, you can see the bell peppers are just struggling at this point with the heat. I'll probably just come trim them all down, at least in the beds. The sweet potatoes are going absolutely crazy. You got a lizard. Hi, friend. Hanging out? I'm not gonna bother you. As you can see, this is another Tabasco plant. I'm gonna go ahead and take all of that. And this, I'm not really 100% sure. I think this is another padrone plant. So I'm gonna grab those before the rain. This is a giant marconi. I may let them get a little bit bigger since they're pretty small right now. And another poblano that I think I'm gonna take that too because this area doesn't get a lot of sun. I am taking these because I don't think they're gonna get much bigger than this in the bucket. They will hydroponically though. Not a bad looking haul if I do say so myself. I wanted to show y'all what 1 week in the hydroponic system will do. You can see, if you remember, these things were puny when I put them out here. Tiny, 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 and they have just exploded with growth. Everything has exploded with growth. I cannot wait to see what we get out of this. Hopefully even some bell peppers. Hopefully. And our tomatoes that I hem and hawed about, I did leave in here so far to see what they do. I'm not sure if we'll get anything. Like I said, it is super hot, but we'll try. This bucket was the puniest of them all with my sad Mexican sunflower and a tiny, tiny eggplant. So see if this can do something. And over here, my experimental bucket. This is 2 Tahitian melons. I've just planted the seeds in here. And this is, I think, a giant sunflower. I did put another Tahitian melon seed in here, but that one hasn't come up, but that's okay because I'll have my hands full with 2 of them in here. Because as you can see in here, the Tahitian melon is no joke. It has big old leaves and it should look really nice trellising up our bamboo trellis. Well, I've got my work cut out for me inside, which thankfully inside has AC, so that's a plus. It's been getting harder and harder to come out and film. This is where I live. This is when our gardens really kind of start to slow down, which is another reason why I really got into the hydroponic system. So I'm hoping to continue getting many more harvests, hopefully some more peppers, because I've got several varieties. If you saw my last video where I went over all the ones I planted out, several different varieties that a lot of them are even new to me. So hopefully they will actually get to produce. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. And until next time, stay blessed.